But just as we're beginning to wrap up, of course, Carl knows my radio hero is, of course, Anthony Cumia, the Ant-Man, who a couple of months ago had a pretty serious health issue. He seems to be on the mend because he's back on Twitter saying racist stuff and complaining about black people.
Oh, thank God. Oh, yeah. I was worried for a moment there.
Yeah, I was too busy with all these stupid AC/DC updates, but thankfully Anthony's back to talk about how, there's different rules for different people.
Husey, will you get a fucking green screen for Christmas, for Christ's sake?
Sorry.
This technology you're using is terrible.
It'll do for now. But with but recently on Twitter and on social media, Anthony Cumia, the Ant-Man, has been getting a lot of well wishes, especially by one great Greg Opie Hughes, which I think is a good sign that Opie's not completely dead inside, that he would metaphorically kick somebody while they're down on their health. But my question for you, Karl, is what do you think was the reasoning behind Opie wishing well to Anthony, the Ant-Man?
We all know the reason. It's always for Opie. Opie will do those things to get himself attention. So Opie has put out videos where he's trashing Anthony since Anthony had his health issue, where he's worried about him. He plays both sides. He just wants to be talking about Anthony, wants to be interacting with Anthony because that's what gets him views. And Opie gets very little views when he just talks about his normal horse shit that he talks about because he's a boring guy. Opie's a very boring guy.
Don't say that. His most recent stream, he mentioned that he went to the store to buy batteries for his alarm clock. So if that's boring to you, then I don't think you know what makes good content anymore, Karl. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, I'm out of it. What do you think the reason that he's wishing well for Anthony is? Do you think it's because they're going to be best friends again?
I'm thinking that Opie as well, because if you noticed some of Opie's recent output, he's even started doing a thing called The Best of Opie and Anthony, where he's got all these clips that I don't even know how he can legally do it. He's put all these clips out on his podcast that he breaks up by telling the backstory. That's a hilarious burp for the video. And so I'm thinking, is it possible that 2024 is when we may finally see the peace between Opie and Anthony come back to maybe doing some type of podcast stream, some type of YouTube event? I don't know. Go to Jim Norton's wife out with the lads. All kinds of potential options.
What are you talking about? I mean, obviously, what you're saying here is all make believe. I don't know if you're writing about this in your journal or something and hoping it will happen. Opie and Anthony will never do anything together ever again. There's a better chance that a video comes out of KB sucking off Chad Zumock than there is a chance that we're going to see Opie and Anthony do a stream together.
What do you think, Phil? Do you think that there's malicious reasons behind the well wishes, or do you think that they're genuine well wishes?
I don't. I think the answer is C. None of the above. I think the only time anyone pays any attention to Opie is in relationship to Anthony. So him wishing Anthony well accomplishes the twin goal of showing everyone how generous he is, that he would wish well on this person who has been so unkind to him, and also getting him some eyeballs, some traffic, because the rest of the time nobody cares what he has to say. And I think the hatred between these two people is pretty deep at the best of times. So they might be able to avoid open war, but that's the best it's ever going to get.
What about you, Joey? You're sort of newish to the scene. Could you be here for the Kevin Brennan OnlyFans and the Opie and Anthony reunion at the same time?
I'm gonna really put this out on a limb and give another Joey C embarrassing moment. Until I got into the Dabbleverse on June 5th, I couldn't tell you who the fuck Cumia or Opie was. I never heard of them ever in my life, and I'm 57 years old. I was a Howard Stern, very dedicated to Howard Stern. So anybody outside of that realm, I wouldn't even utter to even think about. When I podcast in July, Opie and Anthony made a reunion on my show. I actually believed it was really Opie and Anthony. I didn't know nothing about them, but So I went the next day to check out this Opie guy, and I had about 13 or 14 trolls in there that said, no, don't let this guy in. Get rid of him. And he immediately banned me without even knowing me. So I said, fuck Opie. I've tormented him now every time he's on live. And I go in there with another account, and I tell him he's said horse shit without Cumia, and Anthony's Italian, so I'm going to have to go with him. But I think Opie needs Anthony alive for a little while longer to sign an agreement so he can have the rights to all their memorabilia as he tries to bring them back. I think he that's what he needs. Then he'll definitely send off Anthony to hell, is what I think. But
wow, Opie has made a powerful enemy in Joey C. This is not a good move, Opie. Next thing you know, there's going to be rumors flying about S'ing D's. Who knows what's going to come out now?
Jesus fucking Christ. Joey C is an incredible fucking guest.
Actually, Opie did talk to Joey C very briefly. He said this.
Are you a boner guy?
And Joey C said,
I was a boner guy.
He told me to come back and talk to him when I got millions and millions of viewers.
Oh, what an asshole. He would say that.
He then will consider me to be a great radio personality. And I told him, suck my dick, is what I told him.
He's like, I'll talk to you if you're a floating ear of corn or potato, but otherwise I will not have any time for you.
He's a corn diff guy. I don't think he was a potato guy. He's a big
he had Cardiff on quite a bit. Yep.
Did he?
Corn diff and Cardiff. Yep. And also whatever fucking character El Horrible was playing at that time.
But Karl, so do you think that there really isn't the chance of O&A being on good terms in 2024?
Not only is there not a chance of that, I don't know why anyone would root for it. Who wants to hear Opie and Anthony have a conversation? Anthony's interesting. Jim Norton's interesting. You can still see those guys. They still have shows. That's what you should be paying attention to. Opie's terrible. He doesn't add anything to anything.
You think Jim Norton's still interesting?
Well, I don't think Jim is the same guy that he used to be back in the O&A days, but he's still one of the
Neither's his wife.
Quickest guys. He's still one of the funniest, quickest guys you'll ever hear on the radio program.
Yeah, compared to Sam Roberts, that's like saying, well, that guy stole that scene with Vin Diesel.
I have to say, I have to give Sam Roberts credit. He is really the guy who invented Jocktober. He was the guy who pulled all the clips and brought all the clips together and put those packages together, which really is what started Who Are These Podcasts. So I got to give him credit for that at least.
I love that it moved into a plug.